Hello everyone, this is Jeremy and welcome to episode 29 of Nuclear Earth Reirradiated. To start us off, I want to apologize for the audio quality in yesterday's video. It was pretty bad. I played a different game, it hijacked my mic settings, I didn't realize until afterwards. Whoops, my bad. Should be fixed now. If it's still bad, you can, I don't know, tell me and I'll apologize again or something. Anyways, as for actual productive things, I want to make the Sword of the Cosmos today. I don't know if we'll get all the way there, but at the very least, we should start by making the essence of the Eternal Sword. So, if we look at our swords here, according to Applied Logistics, we can make it. However, Applied Logistics doesn't quite know the full story, because the Sword of the Eternal Sword here requires 1,000 points of Kalis. And to get that, we have to melt down this blue wolf fur. But if you look at it, each piece of blue wolf fur only has 2 points of Kalis in it. So we have to melt at least 500 of these. And on top of that, in the process of melting 500 of this, we get a ton of useless stuff. Almost all those other aspects we get out of it are useless. So what I'm going to try to do is get the useless stuff sent into these 4 jars specifically. I'm gonna see what happens. If I melt one of this, where will it go? I'm hoping that it'll prioritize sending it to the nearest jars first, because afterwards we can then label the jars, and then once labeled, the jars will only ever fill with that aspect. It might be going into jars that already have the material. Yeah, okay. So how about this then? We grab some files. This is how you can move essentia and get a file of, let's see, this is Aurum. What were the other aspects in there? Draco, Aurum, Draco, brain, and heart power. So heart power and brain power. All right. Labeled. Well, I guess we have to fill it. There we go. So fill and label these. Labeling them is, as I mentioned, effectively locking the jar to this material. And I believe that these smelteries prefer to send their bits into labeled jars before into normal jars. So now when we melt it, we should see that the brain power goes in here, the heart power goes in there. Now maybe it's still filling the almost full jars. Let's let it melt a couple pieces and see. But anyways, these are void jars, which means that once they are completely full, they will just void the essentia that goes into them. It voids it in the form of flux, I believe, by releasing it into the atmosphere. But like this chunk already has infinite flux in it. Thermometer. So you know, there's already, I can't read that number because it's covered by the jetpack, but it's 1,000 something. What's another little bit more? So anyways, hopefully soon it prefers to go into void jars instead of filling up new ones. Please, pretty please, I beg of you. I think what's happening is that the smelter here, or the transfusers, prefer to put essentia into non-voided jars before going into void jars. So this is effectively the last time we're ever going to melt stuff down in this smeltery, so I think that's fine. It's just going to fill up the entire block, and only after the entire block is filled up will it start jamming into these void jars. And then after the void jars are filled up, obviously it'll have to void the rest, and that's exactly what we want. So I labeled 4 jars here with Kalis superpower to guarantee that they will always have, you know, there will always be room to hold at least the 1,000 points of Kalis that we need. There's another Kalis jar in here somewhere. What color is it? Greenish? Bluish? This one? There we go. So between those 5 jars, we'll eventually have up to 250 or 1,250 points of this, which is enough. Cool. So the other thing we need for the infusion then is to have enough pedestals. Namely, we need, remember, I think it was like 80 pedestals. Let's check the recipe again. So that's most easily done by looking in the recipe package encoder, which so this is 81 total slots. 1 goes in the middle, so there's 79 side items. So I need at least 79 pedestals, of which I have something like 24 right now, or 6 times 4. Yeah, so I have 24. So I need a lot more pedestals. I think that's 80 side pedestals. At the end, it got a little tricky here because I kind of ran out of room. I couldn't expand this way without moving jars, which means I couldn't expand this way because of symmetry. And then I have some redstone here. So these three are theoretically matched by those three, and I think that actually still counts as symmetrical. Our altar is still labeled as very stable, so that's good. I also noticed that it did start filling these jars before it started filling some of these empty ones. So I don't know what its filling logic is. Maybe it was still partially filling jars, and then once it finished partially filling jars, it went over to labeled void jars, or I have no clue, honestly. But this is now gradually filling up. So I'm going to leave this here a bit. It'll take it a while to actually fill up to the point where we have the 1,000 points to do the infusion. It's actually going to be 1040 total, I believe, because each of our infusion stones increase the cost by 1%. All right, so while that goes, let's take a look at what else the Sword of the Cosmos requires from us, and that is diamonds, among other things. So singularities, at this point, I think I'm just going to, once we have everything else done, I'm just going to cheat in the remaining singularities. I thought about waiting a day to get enough singularities, but that would literally push this video back another day, and all we do is wait. So there's one singularity though that's different. That's a flux singularity. This uses fluxed electrum, which is, I guess, slightly more complicated than normal to make. So for this, we have to actually like take gold and silver and mix it with redstone. I don't think it really matters how you do. Oh, I guess if you do it in a fluid infuser, you get to use less redstone. But redstone, it's not exactly lacking. So I'm gonna set up a system to make it, and then we'll pretend we left it up for like the couple days it takes to actually make the 3 million fluxed electrum it needs. Even if I actually made it, we don't have the enough gold to actually run it, because our gold at this very moment is still going into the gold singularity maker. So if we look at gold singularities, after all this time, we only have 111. There's a couple other singularities that we're short on. Like the emerald one, I think I literally just started, so we're at 3. But a handful of these, we're at almost 100 out of 121. But waiting for them isn't exactly gameplay. To make the flux electrum, then I have a interface supplying the raw inputs. Right now, our production is bottlenecked by our production of silver dust, but it's perhaps unreasonable to add more void miners. In fact, adding more doesn't actually speed the process up any. We just take time pie and split it up more ways, right? It's kind of like printing money. Printing money doesn't actually make anyone richer. It just takes money from someone else and gives it to the person printing it. So anyways, crafter turns it into electrum dust. Then we mix in some redstone with it. We have all the redstone in the world, so I don't care about being efficient with it. I just want it to be easy. Then we smelt it. Turns out our current rate of silver dust production is like perfectly tied with what one smelting factory can keep up with, one elite smelting factory. So hey, that works out. Then we compact it, jam it into here. I'd say if we make, accounting for lag, one block per second, maybe? 3.6 million blocks is 1,000. How much exactly do we need? 3,100. Let me do some math. It's pretty close to 3.6 million, I'm sure. Yeah, it was 3.376 million ingots. So in terms of, if we assume 1 block per second, which if we weren't lagging, like if we had 20 TPS, I think that's a reasonably close assumption. It takes about 100 hours, so like 5 days worth of production. And yeah, I'm not waiting 5 days for this to finish. So we can pretend we waited 5 days, and that would have produced fluxed singularities, and we would magically have 64 plus 32, so that's what, 96, 97, 7, 8. You get what I mean. We're going to end up with 121 of these. And voila, through the magic of blatant cheating, I guess, I have all the singularities. Normally, I think when I quote-unquote cheat, it's at least arguable that there was no meaningful advantage gain. Now this is blatant cheating, and you know I accept it. It is what it is because I'm not going to wait 4 days to finish the series because we're making Flux Electrum for 4 days. Even if we sped it up, you know, with like switching the lens here, we'd still have to get the other. There was still like a couple other singularities that needed a bit more work. So yeah, how is this coming along then? I guess I still have to wait. This I'm willing to wait for because it's probably like half an hour of melting items down to get enough of this superpower stuff. I wonder, is there some other way to get it? Is that how you pronounce it? What are these vis seeds and how do they work? By the sound of things, if I put seeds in here, oh boy, it's not just a C, right? At least this is sorted alphabetically. We can craft them into Kalis seeds. It uses 20 points of it, but then I think this just effectively grows crystals, if I had to guess, that are pure of this aspect. So that we just have to set up a relatively fast farm. The Thaumanomicon here seem to suggest that the seeds don't produce like additional seeds when harvested. So first of all, this first sentence is not a sentence. No, seems is a verb, right? So now object, verb. Is this technically a sentence? Crucible seems to do the job. I guess that's technically a sentence. It doesn't mean anything though. Anyway, yada yada yada. Harder to get more plantables after gathering one. So I think that just means that the seeds don't, like, you don't get additional seeds for free. But quick sanity check, make sure that they will test whether or not they can be grown. They cannot. I didn't think so. All right then, what is the fastest I can grow plants in this pack? So the level 0 solution is just to use watering cans. I tried to dual wield watering cans, but the game apparently doesn't allow me to do so. Hey, it does lie to me. It said I wasn't going to get more of these seeds. So this seems to be decent, but there are growth crystals in the pack. Now, how much? Oh, this contains 5 each. Never mind. Yeah, probably. Then if they contain 5 points each, I need 1,000, so I need 200 crystals. That's probably a small enough number that I'm willing to just water some seeds for a little bit. This is far easier than trying to melt all that wolf fur. Because that wolf fur, it spends 90% of its time breaking down into the wrong aspects that we don't need, right? Whereas this breaks into the aspects that we do need. These vis plants are great. They provide an excellent way to generate 100% pure, basically any essentia. I assume it applies to every essentia. You just have to make a starting seed for it. That's extremely powerful. Anyways, no longer need you. Melt this down instead. Because the meltdown time is a function of how many aspects are actually contained in the thing, you can see this melts much faster than the wolf fur, and it's all the good stuff. All right, so that should fill up these jars in just a matter of minutes. Let me go order the sword here. Now, when I order it, it'll do a little bit of crafting, and then it'll dump as many items as it can into this item interface. So the unpackager has a recipe, it'll dump it all into here. However, the items will not all fit. So I'm instead going to put a crate here to hold the excess. It might not, there might be a problem with putting the crate here. Yeah, I prefer to put all the items in the crate. All right, that's fine too. What I'll do is manually put you in the middle. I'm going to turn this auto starter off because I don't want it to start until we're ready. And then just this one time, move every item over to a pedestal. It doesn't really make sense to hook up lasers to every pedestal just for a single craft. So what I can do is, let's see, this. Interface, insert. And then that should start placing items onto the pedestals that are laser linked. But because not every pedestal is laser linked, that won't get them all. So I just have to do the rest by hand. Oh, I hope I'm not putting MBT data on these swords that they don't want. Well, we'll see. I didn't end up using every pedestal, but I recounted and there are 80 pedestals here. So these are superfluous, extraneous to requirements, yada yada yada. The fact that now every pedestal except one has an item on it is good. That's 79 side items and 1 center item. So, are we ready for the Here Goes Nothing? Let's double check, make sure. Alright, so these are all full. There's at least enough points. Our altar is reasonably stable. Our stabilizers are online. I mean, Here Goes Nothing? It started. Wow, I was like 80% sure something would break. Ow. Uh-oh. It's more unstable than I thought. I think I want to be around to help absorb instability. Instability... Oh, it's dangerously unstable already. Do we abort or do we let it keep going? I think we let it keep going and count on the... No, our stabilizer is going to get overwhelmed. Okay, abort. So pull out the center item to abort the infusion. Alright, I need some way to make this more stable, and I need to make sure none of my swords got knocked off their pedestals. So the stabilizers will eat some instability events, but if it's going to be unstable for that long, I don't think it'll be able to do it. Yeah, okay, so first of all, it looks like all the swords survived. That's good. Now I need to come up with ways to make this altar more stable. Thaumanomicon, give me tips. I did a couple things to hopefully solve our stability problem. First of all, I just added a boatload more stabilizers. I'm just temporarily getting rid of some of the redstone that was right here. Got rid of some of the jars, replaced them with more stabilizers. So I think we are already at the cap of stabilizers that contribute to the stability value. I don't actually know how to get that number to update, but I'm pretty sure our base stability value is not going to get much better. However, with this many stabilizers, we can just eat instability events all day. I didn't want to put one here because there's actually like settings on this conduit and I didn't want to get rid of it. Although I suppose I could have just moved the conduit on top. Whatever. So it's missing its partner across there too. And I added a couple more stabilizers down below. Again, I don't know if these are actually doing anything, but I know they don't hurt. So, let's see, our base stability is 1.54. Yeah, okay, so the base stability did not get any better. I'm going to stand back then, because if all these instability events are just going to go into the altar, or into the stabilizers, then what's the point of me face taking them, right? I will keep an eye out and hopefully observe that none of the items get knocked off the pedestals. That is the one thing I'm worried about. So maybe to that end, I will even... Oh, am I wearing my magnet? I am. Even upgrade our magnet to the Terra Steel magnet so that if anything gets knocked off, it'll get sucked into our inventory instead of being destroyed. Ow. Alright, well, good luck, Infusion. I guess if I want to suck stuff up, I do have to stand nearby. I tried some other things, like, we're just going to get zapped a bit, and hopefully it doesn't kill me while I'm reading the Thaumanomicon, huh? The Infusion Altar says that if we have the better... Where does it show that? The better pedestals? Here it is. We can make the pedestal out of, like, Eldritch stuff, and make the, altar out of this Eldritch stuff. However, this Eldritch stone is made from void stone. So this recipe is added by one of the mods, but void stone doesn't have a recipe. From Thaumic augmentation. I haven't even looked at some of these add-ons, but like, oh god. Explosions are not good here. Yeah, nothing got knocked off. So far, so good. Alright, anyways. Yeah, Thaumic augmentation here. I looked through this, here it is. Void stone. This dark colored stone can be found in most locales around dimensional fractures. I don't know what a dimensional fracture is. But I guess at World Gens. There's also a advanced stabilizer. Ow. This is extremely unpleasant. No items in my inventory yet. So far, so good. How far are we? Halfway there. Oh, I'm so afraid something's gonna go wrong. But anyways, the rift stabilizer here, or the stabilizer here is actually a rift stabilizer. which I guess is probably somehow related to the void stone, but whatever. I'm just gonna keep a close eye on this. Please don't break. Please, dear God, don't break. Don't break. You can zap me all you like. Just don't break. We're reaching the point of no return, and I get ambushed by a monster. Up until this point, if I cancel, I don't lose any items. I just lose the essentia that's been pumped into the altar so far. But now that we're starting to suck items in, if I cancel now, the items that are sucked in already are gone forever. So, yeah, that's why this is the point of no return. Ugh. It is pretty cool to watch the items get sucked in. Hold on, real quick. One by one, you can see it like scanning across, starting the next row. Apparently, that's how it chooses the order to suck items in. It just scans across. I assume this is... No, this is positive. Yeah, so in lowest to highest values. Here go the last couple of items. If I lost an item along the way, what'll happen now is instead of getting the final item, it'll just sit here waiting for me to replace... Oh, thank goodness. It'll sit here waiting for me to replace the lost item. But because I didn't lose anything, I now have a sword. Does this actually do damage? No, doesn't look like it. All right, so now that I have the sword, we're gonna chuck it into the smeltery, right, to break it down into its aspects. Yeah, I mean, it has 500 points of sword in the sword. Yeah, let's not do that. I'm actually moderately surprised the recipe just worked the first time around. There was no MBT data weirdness, and that's really about the only weirdness there could have been. So kudos for that. All right. Then all that stuff now is to make the Sword of the Cosmos. I've already cheated in my singularities that I didn't want to wait for, so I'm just going to cheat in the remaining neutrons that I don't wish to wait for. I'll probably just give myself a whole bunch of neutronium ingots, and I want to do it in a way that doesn't poison me, because giving myself neutronium ingots seems like a great way to instantly die. I think while the item's on my cursor, it doesn't poison me, right? So if I just go directly from... Okay, yeah, there we go. Directly from cursor into ME system. Is that enough? We don't get poisoned by it. Nope. We need... Oh, I'm going to end up cheating for 4 stacks of neutronium ingots. That was a couple days worth of production. But again, waiting time is not really gameplay, so... Give me one Sword of the Cosmos. So this has a bunch of sub-crafting steps, but when it's done, basically all the crafting, or almost all the steps in it are done in the extreme crafting table here. So we can see now it's crafting... Oh wow, the extreme package crafter is really fast, actually. Relative to the package crafter for advanced crafting. You know, like the one that has the 5x5, the 7x7, and the 9x9. This is really fast. But if you want to speed it up a bit, you can surround your unpackager with more extreme package crafters. Definitely not touching it. And each one of these will speed it up. You can get up to 6 around it. I believe you can actually, instead of plugging into the packager, you can plug into an extreme package crafter. So you can get up to 6 around the thing. But I think we're bottlenecked by our package production speed at this point. All right, well, if you want to speed up your packager, then there are package extensions. It's all about speeding things up, even at the very last moment. There's also a bug where if you place your package extension, they immediately pop off. The way you fix that is you briefly disconnect your packager from the ME system, and then... Oh, it's still connected. Hold on. It's connected through this one. Briefly disconnect it, and then add your extensions. I believe it checks a 3x3x3 area around it, so those should work. Reconnect it. I hope that doesn't break the crafting task that was work in progress. Does it rediscover it? No, I might have to restart that craft. Dang it. Wait, no, it was able to rediscover it. I had to plug this one in. But now when it crafts, these extensions get to also craft packages with it. Woohoo, extra speed. Of course, I do all that, and the actual bottleneck by a mile is going to be the making 1,000 dark steel ingots. So I'll all that speeding up of the not slowest part of the craft, yeah, that does literally nothing to speed up the actual slow part of the crafting. But whatever. 10-ish minutes. I think I'm honestly just gonna wait 10 minutes for this to finish now. While this craft finishes up, it'll still be a little while. Why don't I take this time to talk about what some of the things I really liked about this pack, some of the things that I think, could have been better, and future plans. So first of all, this is, for all practical intents and purposes, the end of the pack. There are more things in here. Oh look, we could have gotten a free Infinity Catalyst. But all the other Infinity stuff isn't implemented, and honestly, even if it were, most of what it would entail is just more singularities, more neutronium. Meh, can't be bothered. There's this thing about, like, you get a compressed one to get a block of Infinity, but this item doesn't have a recipe either. So, yeah, for all practical intents and purposes, the Sword of the Cosmos is the end of the pack, which kind of leads me into my first point. I really like that this pack had a bit of a lore at the beginning. You know, the world was doomed from a supernova. It's all irradiated, yada, yada, yada. It's kind of interesting at the beginning, and then it kind of didn't develop into anything, you know? Where at the end of the pack, the world is still polluted all to hell. Technically, it's still poisonous to us, even though it's not so poisonous that we're going to die over the course of hours. But it's, we didn't leave the world, we didn't fix it. So that feels a little disappointing. But honestly, I don't care about lore, so we'll let that one slide. I like the way the Nuclearcraft radiation was done in this pack. I never thought I would say that, because honestly, Nuclearcraft radiation is kind of, I think of it kind of like Thaumcraft's warp system, where, here's an analogy. So say you were just, driving along, you own a car, you have to get gas. So in order to get gas, you go to the gas station, right? You go to the gas station, fill your car up on gas. And then after filling your car, you go up to the clerk to pay for your gas, because you're not going to steal gas. This was back in the day when you paid after pumping, I guess. Anyways, you go up to the clerk, you pay them, you give them, the money, and then you expect them to, like, give you a receipt, say, have a nice day, right? But think about it, instead of giving you a receipt and say, have a nice day, what if they just threw a pie in your face? And, like, that's kind of how I feel with Flux, or the warp system from Thaumcraft. You're having a good time, and instead of the game being like, have a nice day, it chucks a pie in your face. And you're like, great, thanks for the pie. You really made my day, You know what would have made my day better right now? If someone threw a pie in my face. I think that every day. So, because Thaumcraft was nice enough to throw a pie in my face today, I'm happy. Anyways, you know where I'm going with this, right? I don't like systems that punish you for playing. And generally speaking, radiation from Nuclearcraft was like that. If you just, like, run a reactor, good job. Now you've irradiated yourself. Thanks for playing. I hope you enjoyed. Have this pie in your face. But this pack made Nuclearcraft radiation bad at the beginning, so it's something that you can work to mitigate early, and then by the time you're actually making your reactors, well, you've mostly mitigated it already. You might have to go a little bit further, right? Add flux scrubbers or whatever. But yeah, it's a system that you have to do something about, but once you've done something about it, the problem goes away. I love that. I had fun making these large reactors. Even, I didn't actually design the reactor, but I got to use the cool reactor designer tool. I got to unironically build and use multiple max size reactors. Super fun. However, there's the small problem that these are extremely laggy. I mean, okay, nothing you can do about that. Well, nothing you can do about it from a pack design standpoint. Who knows? Maybe Nuclearcraft will fix it someday. Wouldn't hold my breath. But yeah. Nuclearcraft, fun mod, love it. Maybe someday there'll be a similar thing using Nuclearcraft overhauled, like the Nuclearcraft has an overhauled fission reactor system as well. I know literally nothing about that, but seems pretty interesting. Maybe someday I'll play a pack around that. What else? Pace of progression in this pack, very fun. We got, access to tech reasonably early. Auto mining probably could have come a little bit earlier, but hey, I'm probably biased in that regard because I absolutely hate mining. So, yeah, Applied Energistics came early enough. We had good tools to do the things we wanted. Lots of fun automation. Love that. The magic mods were all right. Again, Thaumcraft add-ons, interesting. Thaumcraft, stop throwing pies in my face. Abyssalcraft, stop throwing pies in my face. I love Botania as always. So, yep, that's all good. And I guess that's really my thoughts about the pack. The early game, mid game, very strong. Late game, singularity grind. I've done the singularity grind in multiple different packs. It sucks in every single one of them. We put up with it so that we can ostensibly cheat and finish packs with whatever. I don't care. Look, I hate singularities. I'm gonna put that out there. But so be it. But yeah, I guess that's thoughts. As for what's going to come next, I'm kind of at a point where it's like I've played a lot of I've just played a lot of Minecraft, let's put it that way. So a lot of packs are just uninteresting to me because it's like a rehash on an existing, it's like Enigmatica 2 Expert, except changed slightly. That's one thing I liked about this pack. There's nothing else like it, nothing else. You start in a irradiated land and that has very limited resource. That closest thing is perhaps like regrowth, but regrowth is an ancient pack, so that doesn't really count. And even in regrowth, like you don't even go mining in regrowth, and the land is useless, but it's not irradiated. Anyways, which is yeah, I'm kind of at a point where I'm having a hard time finding a pack to play. It's kind of why I haven't streamed in like the last week. What I'm thinking is I will definitely continue making videos. I have no intention of stopping. However, I'm not just going to play a pack for the sake of playing something. So I'm always open to suggestions. You can either put them in the comment section or go to my Discord, leave them there. But yeah, I don't quite know when exactly I will, when the next series will start. It's really when inspiration strikes. But yeah, that's, I guess, all I have to say. So another couple minutes left on the craft. Stark Shield's going to take forever. I'm going to add another alloy smelter to speed that up. Bit anticlimactic too to just have an auto crafting task finish the last item, but hey, Sword of the Cosmos. Now all we have to do is, I don't know, we kill the radiation in the world, right? Alright guys, it's time to be free. Time to explore the world. Take over. Enjoy your irradiated landscape. I am going to go live in Thaumcraft dimension or something. Oh, come on. I let you out of your box, and you immediately go ruining my crops. This world sucks. So there will be a world download available, in case there's anything here you want to see, if you want to experience the lag for yourself firsthand. But I think that's it for this series, so let's send her away. 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye. No one saw anything. Wait, did it go off? Where's my lever? Oh my gosh, I can't even blow up the world correctly. Disappointment. There we go. All right. Bye-bye. Maybe. This is the most anticlimactic ending I've ever had. Now my client's probably going to crash next. I mean, they're still moving. Come on, explode please. There we go. Client crash. Oh, and server crash. Well, that was a disappointing explosion. It blew out the chunk it was in. I assume that's just one chunk. Yeah. And left everything else perfectly intact. So you know what? So be it. These villagers will now go forth, repopulate this world, and it can be their job to scrub it clean of radiation. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and subsequently this series, and I hope to see you in the next one, whenever that may be. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, also, I didn't just delete one chunk. I, randomly deleted a few chunks, and then I was like, yep, nope, that's it. I'm done. Thanks.